Let me break this down real clear for the media jackals out there, because apparently even the so-called good guys at Fox News forgot how to fucking read a Supreme Court ruling.
Here's the argument on topic number one. DOJ said a federal court cannot compel the executive branch to engage in any mandated act of diplomacy or incursion upon the sovereignty of another nation. So your argument is that you don't have to bring him back home, but will you?
So I want to correct, I hate to do it, Bill, but I got to correct you on every single thing that you said, because it was all wrong. First, we won the Supreme Court case, clearly, 9-0. A district court judge said unconscionably that the president and his administration have to go into El Salvador and extradite one of their citizens, an El Salvadorian citizen, so that would be kidnapping, that we have to kidnap an El Salvadorian citizen against the will of his government and fly him back to America, which would be an unimaginable act and an invasion of El Salvador's sovereignty. So he appealed to the Supreme Court, and it said clearly, no district court can compel the president to exercise his Article 2 foreign powers in any way whatsoever.
The White House didn't lose shit. The Department of Justice didn't violate some magical humanitarian law. What happened was a federal judge told the executive branch to go kidnap someone from El Salvador, and the Supreme Court basically said, go fuck yourself. That's not how America works.
Wait, hold up. Kidnap? What the fuck, Bill? Since when do we hop on planes and snatch people from foreign countries like we're Liam Neeson and Taken? And what the fuck is wrong with Fox? I thought they were on Trump's side. Now they're out here sounding like some knockoff CNN spinoff. What's next? Jesse Waters crying on air about gender-neutral pronouns and safe spaces? Get the fuck out of here with that.
The El Salvadorian president, who, by the way, was in the damn Oval Office when all this went down, said it himself. We're not releasing a terrorist just to please the media circus.
I asked Can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's always
how can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle? I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people.
And the Supreme Court, they made it very clear, no court can force the president to act on foreign soil. That would be a breach of sovereignty. That would be a diplomatic disaster. You know what that would be? A fucking war starter.
Exactly, but of course the media left that part out because facts don't fit their bullshit sob story. CNN's all like, he's just a poor dad from Maryland. Oh yeah? With MS-13 ties, strike one, he entered illegally. Strike two, he's connected to a fucking death cult gang. Strike three, MS-13 is labeled a terrorist group. That motherfucker's out. Get him the fuck out of here. No sympathy. None.
No, Bill, it's important. He was not mistakenly sent to El Salvador.
Okay, so do you still believe
he's an illegal
he is a
alien from El Salvador? Hold on, this is important. In 2019, he was ordered deported. He has a final removal order from the United States. These are things that no one disputes. Where is he from? El Salvador. Where is he a resident and citizen of? El Salvador. Is he here illegally? Yes. Does he have a deportation order? Yes. A DOJ lawyer who has since been relieved of duty, a saboteur, a Democrat, put into a filing incorrectly that this was a mistaken removal. It was not. This was the right person sent to the right place. Now, some have said, well, but he had a thing called a withholding order. So a withholding order means you've been ordered deported, but an immigration judge is saying you cannot go back to a particular country. Here's the thing. If you are a member of a foreign terrorist organization, you cannot have a withholding order. Since he's in MS-13, there is no withholding order. Furthermore, the gang that he is accused of being persecuted by doesn't exist anymore in El Salvador. The 18th Street gang is gone.
Will Mahmoud Khalil be deported from the United States? Quick answer on that, please.
Yes, he will, as will anyone who preaches hate for America. His organization said they wanted to eradicate Western civilization. Look, under this country, under this administration, under President Trump, people who hate America, who threaten our citizens, who rape, who murder, and who support those who rape and murder are going to be ejected from this country. And I just wish a fraction of the media outrage that we had over deporting terrorists and deporting monsters and deporting their sympathizers from this country was spent crying over the blood that was shed of American women and children over the last 4 years, or crying over the 500,000 children that Biden trafficked into this country, or crying over the neighborhoods destroyed by gangs and drugs and fentanyl. Cemeteries are filled with tombstones from Americans that were killed by Joe Biden and Mayorkas and his administration, suffering beyond imagination. We just arrested an illegal alien who committed sex crimes against 20 children. Sex crimes against 20 children freed by a sanctuary city. So I'll reserve my sympathy and my empathy for the Americans being brutalized by these monsters, and we will not apologize for getting these monsters the hell out of our country, Bill.
This wasn't some clerical error. He was ordered deported in 2019. A DOJ saboteur, a Democrat hack, tried to sneak in a lie saying it was a mistake. That agent's gone now, as they should be. You don't get a withholding order if you're in a terrorist group. And guess what? The gang he claimed was persecuting him, it doesn't even exist anymore in El Salvador. Gone. Wiped out.
So what the fuck are we even arguing about? I mean, for fuck's sake, it's right there in black and white, but the media still wants to paint this guy as a misunderstood family man. Meanwhile, American kids are getting raped and murdered by illegal fucking scumbags in sanctuary cities, and the fake media is like, oh no, don't deport him. That's mean. Go fuck yourself.
And let's talk about that, because Stephen Miller laid it out beautifully. He said, anyone who preaches hate against America, who supports rape, murder, or terrorism, they're getting thrown the hell out, period. We should be crying for the American women and children buried in cemeteries, not for the monsters who put them there.
You want tears? Cry for the kids Biden trafficked into this country, over 500,000. Cry for the 20 kids that illegal asshole raped in a sanctuary city last week. But no, they'd rather cry over some MS-13 piece of shit. You know what, Bobby? Fuck their fake outrage. I've had it.
Now, let's move on to something the media really doesn't want you to think about, because it shatters their entire narrative. Nvidia, the biggest chip manufacturer on the planet, just announced they're moving their production to America. Not China, not Taiwan, right here at home.
Right. And also, I don't know if you saw the notes about Nvidia to manufacture American-made AI supercomputer for U.S. for the first time.
Yes.
Gigantic commitment of $500 billion. Interestingly enough, that's the same amount that Apple committed, but people were a little suspicious of the White House about Apple. No one's suspicious of Nvidia, because if we don't have those chips, Nvidia's in all the missiles, Carl. Did some checking on this. All the missiles are driven by Nvidia chips.
They are? Really?
Yes.
Already?
I got this, yeah.
They're already incorporating the latest chips in things that were put on the drawing board many years ago? Really?
You know, Jim, I agree with you.
Well, I like to question you before I agree with you.
You know what, David? You know how you see these ads about people who do some work with the phones?
I'm aware of how hard you work.
Well,
I just want to make sure that
I actually
that
have
was an
dinner
accurate,
with people who put Nvidia.
That was an accurate statement.
I have dinner with people who put Nvidia chips in the missiles. Okay.
This is the same company that fuels our military, our missiles, and the entire AI industry, and now they're investing $500 billion into U.S. manufacturing.
Wait a fucking second, Bobby. Didn't that clueless bitch from the Treasury say bringing manufacturing back was a pipe dream?
Perhaps it's to bring back American manufacturing, but I really think that's a pipe dream and not something that is likely to be accomplished. And we could even raise questions about whether or not, in a broad-based way, that's a desirable goal.
Let me break it down for her dumbass. Number one, Trump slams tariffs on China. Number two, big-ass companies start sweating. Number three, Nvidia says fuck it and comes home. Number four, middle class wins. That's not a pipe dream, sweetheart. That's called leadership. Something your fucking party wouldn't recognize if it smacked them in the face with a brick.
And yet the media spins it like Trump is crashing the economy. Think about that, an American president making American companies build in America, and somehow that's bad. Let me ask, if tariffs are so dangerous, then why the hell are other countries using them more aggressively than us? You think China's letting our shit in duty-free? Wake up.
Exactly, Robert. These fucking globalists act like we're supposed to bend over, smile, and thank them while they gut the middle class. You don't get to talk about fiscal discipline while you're pissing away hundreds of billions on Ukraine, foreign aid, and illegal aliens. You want to see discipline? Start by cutting off the fucking checks to every corrupt shithole regime on earth.
And now they want to pretend Biden deserves all the credit because of the CHIPS Act. Please. If that were true, why didn't Nvidia announce this 2 years ago? The truth is, they see which way the wind is blowing. They know Trump's coming back. They know tariffs are coming back. So they're getting ahead of it. That's what real economic pressure does.
They're scared, and they should be. You've got a freight train coming called Trump 47, and the whole globalist scam is about to get fucking derailed.
But there's one thing we've got to ask. How long are Americans willing to wait to feel this turnaround? How long can Trump deliver the hard right before people give up waiting for results?
How long do you anticipate Americans are willing to wait for what you're talking about, for the turnaround in order to feel it? Because right now they're making clear they don't.
Yeah, and that poll, it says a couple of months, right? That's what the poll, the CBS poll says, a few months. That's what they're willing to give this president. And listen, unfortunately, we got here over decades. Decades, we shipped jobs overseas. Remember Ross Perot, that giant sucking sound? Remember that? That was, how many years ago was that occurring? And so this has been taking place over generations. When you go to my hometown of Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, that happened in the 70s and 80s. Those jobs, those steel jobs and jobs in the aluminum industry in Pennsylvania went elsewhere over a long period of time. So to think that the Trump administration could fix it in 2 weeks is a little naive. Listen, I think that Donald Trump's goals are laudable. We got to make things here. We got to make things in America.
You want the truth, Robert? Shit's been fucked for decades. I'm talking Ross Perot, NAFTA, that giant sucking sound. You remember that? People's jobs got shipped out before I even had chest hair. So if some whiny poll says Americans will only wait a few months, I say tough shit. You want miracles overnight? Go see a fucking magician.
Exactly, Lester. Urban nailed it. We didn't end up in this mess overnight. This is the result of globalist rot eating at America's core for 40 damn years. So the idea that Trump's got to fix it in a month or he's a failure, that's media bullshit. And the people pushing it are the same ones who signed off on those trade deals that gutted the Rust Belt.
Go walk through Detroit, Cleveland, Youngstown, my fucking hometown in Jersey. You'll see what Biden's brilliance bought us. Fentanyl, welfare, dead factories, and families torn to pieces. So yeah, let Trump take his time. I'd rather wait 2 more years for the right kind of success than get fast food bullshit from the fucking DNC drive-through window.
And here's the punchline, Lester. They still act like this is worse than the last 4 years. Like Trump is crashing the economy. No, what Trump is doing is the hard right, not the easy wrong. And the hard right takes time. But when it lands, it lasts. Now let's talk about something the media tried to downplay until it blew up in their faces. An attempted fucking arson attack against Governor Josh Shapiro and his family. Someone tried to burn their fucking house down with the family inside. That's not politics, that's terrorism. Let's hear what the governor had to say.
We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. And we have a responsibility to all be better.
Yeah, here's the thing, Bobby. He's right. That shit ain't okay. But maybe his party should take a long, hard look in the mirror. Because when you constantly scream that Trump's going to destroy the country, guess what? Some crazy motherfucker out there believes it's his duty to light somebody's house on fire. That's not passion. That's propaganda. And the Democrats are pumping it out like a fucking sewage hose.
And so here is CNN this morning sharing more details about who is actually behind this.
Police say 38-year-old suspect Cody Belmer, seen here, has now been charged with attempted murder, aggravated arson, and terrorism after allegedly breaking into and setting fire to the house as Governor Shapiro and his family slept. Governor Shapiro issuing a scathing response following that attack, which took place just hours after he and his family celebrated at the Passover Seder.
Cody fucking Belmer, a 38-year-old lunatic. And when the media realized he wasn't some red hat Trump voter, they zipped it. Suddenly the outrage disappeared. No deep dives, no panels, no crocodile tears. You know why? Because this guy was one of theirs.
And we're not just talking assumptions. Social media is already loaded with disturbing claims about Belma.
A registered fucking socialist. And the guy bragged about voting 27 goddamn times. You see the shit? But the media still won't call it what it is. Radical left-wing domestic terrorism. If that was a Trump supporter, holy fuck, it'd be DEFCON 5 on CNN. We'd be hearing about it until Christmas 2028.
Now, here's something else the left refuses to do. Condemn violence from their own side. But you know who didn't hesitate?
Last question, sir. Have you attributed a motive through the FBI investigation behind the attack on Governor Josh Shapiro over the weekend?
No, I haven't, but the attacker was not a fan of Trump, I understand, just from what I read and from what I've been told. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody. It's probably just a whack job. And certainly a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen.
That's right. Trump condemned the shit out of it. Not a tweet, not a whisper. He stood in front of the press and said it's fucking wrong. That's leadership. You hear that, Kamala? You hear that, AOC? Nah, of course you don't. You're too busy running your fucking mouths.
And just to show you how toxic this rhetoric has become, listen to what AOC said this weekend.
Donald Trump is a criminal. A criminal found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud. Of course he is lying and manipulating the stock market too.
Motherfucking hell. This one's screaming like a banshee on meth. Somebody sedate her already. 34 felonies? You mean the ones cooked up by a kangaroo court in a blue district that hates him more than they hate gas stoves? And now she's claiming Trump is manipulating the stock market? Bitch, the only thing you ever manipulated was a fucking drink tray when you were waitressing.
This is what we've come to. Public officials spewing poison while innocent people suffer. Our cities overrun, our economy hijacked, our children trafficked, and all the media cares about is protecting their political team.
You want to fix this? Start by turning off the news and turning up the truth. Because what you're seeing on CNN, MSNBC, and yeah, even Fox sometimes, is a polished pile of scripted, pre-approved bullshit. You want the truth? You come to us. Chris Dallas, Celebrity Recreations. That's the real fucking news.
America is under attack, not by bombs, but by deception. And while the corrupt scream louder, we speak clearer. We don't need to burn down buildings. We burn down lies. And that's what we just did.
If you liked what you just saw, then subscribe and drop a comment below. Like this video, share it with everyone you know, and don't be a ghost, participate. It helps YouTube's algorithms so others can spot us.
And don't forget to subscribe to Chris Dallas and Celebrity Recreations, the only place brave enough to tell the truth, while the rest of them are pissing their pants on live TV.
We ain't done, not by a long shot. See you fucking legends in the next one. Bobby and I are out of here.